So topical back with another video. I am Strange Wang, and today I have a ranking of what you might say, a ranking of the Rocky Creed opponents, villains, whatever you want to call them. I'll be going through and ranking them from the 10 movies we have from these two gentlemen, Rocky and Adonis Creed. But before we get into that, please subscribe, especially if you like Rocky content, because we're pumping out Rocky content all week long. As you can tell, I love Rocky. That whole shelf's Rocky stuff, but you can't see it. But I love Rocky. We got the Creed review eye in the corner somewhere, but we're going to talk about these Rocky opponents. And if you want to hear more Rocky stuff, as I said, subscribe. We're doing Rocky stuff most of the week. And follow us on TikTok. We're doing Rocky stuff on there as well. Coming in at number 8, we have Tommy Morrison playing Tommy Gunn from Rocky 5. I know what Stallone was trying to do. It didn't work. Especially putting it in a street fight. It really didn't work. If you wanted it to work, you should have had it in a ring. I don't want to see Rocky hit people with trash cans. He's not an ECW wrestler. He shouldn't be doing that shit. Tell him to walk across the street, go to the gym, and settle it like men. No cameras, no reporters. The Don King character was interesting, but as an opponent, there's not enough of Tommy Morrison to really like or to really care about, because he's a peon to Balboa. Number 7, we have Mason Dixon. Again, a whatever, forgettable character. It could have been anyone in that role. It just made sense for the champion of that time period to be in this video game and to say, hey, this video game says he's better than me. I disagree. Here's why. I mean, you look at LeBron James, Kobe, Jordan comparisons. It's just it is what it is. That's going to happen. It's a smart script to do that. But as an opponent for Rocky, I don't care about him. And with his uncharismatic ass, I could do without him. But it is a great movie nonetheless. Number 6, this one we are heating up. We have Clubber Lang. And Clubber Lang, the reason why he's at number 6 is because of the end fight scene. Rocky, he's got him figured out and he just demolishes them pretty much. But before that, we get a lot of great stuff from Clubber Lang. We get a lot of great interviews, a lot of memorable lines. Clubber Lang, what's your prediction for this fight? Pain! Like, that shit's fucking incredible. And on top of that, you establish that he's a fucking destroyer. Throughout this entire movie, Rocky was off his game big time and he beat him. But we just didn't have that great fight at the end to really solidify him as one of the best Rocky villains of all time. Number 5, we have our first villain from Creed, and it's Pretty Ricky Conlon. This is a great underdog story. He's great on the microphone. He was great in the press conferences. Pretty Ricky was a good opponent for Adonis Creed, especially for the first fight out. He's a little doughy, but he's a hell of an ass kicker nonetheless. So with the good mic work and the in-ring action, being a professional boxer, it correlated into a phenomenal in-fight scene and a good hill for Adonis Creed to climb and to get behind him. Here at Sona Topical, we're unfortunately poor, and this money you see on screen, that's CGI. That's not real money, because again, we're poor. So if you want to click in the ad eye in the corner, that video is monetized and we can make money off it, so please go watch it.
And if you click an ad, we make more money. And if you really want to help, there's the thanks button right there below this video.
Number 4 is Drago Jr. And it's because Drago is not only a villain to Adonis, he's a villain to Rocky as well. So we get a 2-for-1 here. And again, Pretty Ricky, he's a little doughy. That's okay. You know he's an ass kicker. We've seen it. But Drago, he's fucking still. He's bigger than Ricky. He's buffer than Ricky. And it just seems like a bigger hill to climb. And you have the personal animosity of, your father killed my father. I'm going to fuck you up. And you add all of those things together and all those elements, and you have a great rivalry. And it's getting expanded in Creed 3, which I enjoyed a little bit. Because it was like, I see what you're doing, but I guess you shouldn't be that pissed off because you don't really know your father. He has no control of what his father does. So it's cool that they're kind of friends now, but as a opponent, he's a very, very worthy adversary for Adonis Creed. Number 3, I wanted to put him higher, honestly, but 1 and 2 are just too incredible, and I just can't put him any higher. But it is Dame Diamond from Creed 3. Oh my goodness. Jonathan Majors is an incredible actor. Looking at this list, he's honestly probably the best actor as a villain on this list. Taking inspiration from Mike Tyson, you have a personal rivalry from Adonis Creed and Dame. Growing up as kids in the foster detention center scene to learning how to box, falling in love with boxing, and then ending up where we are at this movie, using him, Dame did, to get a title shot and things like that. Makes him pretty slimy. Just like in the movie, I wish there was a little bit more that I could hold on to and dislike of Dame, because he is a destroyer. He treats people like shit. It shows it, but we don't really get to see it. And that would just make that end fight so much better, because we would have personal animosity along with Adonis Creed to dislike this guy, but also feel sympathetic for him at the same time, because he is a very complex character. And because of that and the personal issues, that's why Dame made my number 3. Number 2 is Ivan Drago. The montage scene alone just shows that this motherfucker is insanely dominant. He kills Apollo Creed, and Rocky has no other choice but to get revenge and combat the Russian, not only for his best friend, but for America. So we have personal animosity against Ivan Drago because of Apollo, but he's a fucking killer. He doesn't care. He's basically a robot. He's a Terminator almost. He's insane. And the montage scene again just shows how incredibly fit and built he is. And the whole time he has better advantages than Rocky because they're in Russia. So they give Rocky shit to work with. So that hill is just so much harder and higher to climb that you just get way more behind Rocky than you did than 3 or 5 or 6, and makes Ivan Drago one of Rocky's second best opponent of all time, because he is number 2 on my list. First, obviously, it don't matter if they're friends or rivals, Apollo Creed is one of the best characters in the Rocky universe, and in my opinion is Rocky's best opponent, because you get the most fights with Rocky and Apollo. You get the one where he loses in an incredible bout where he just wants to go to the limit with the champion, the world heavyweight champion of the world, the greatest fighter of all time, to Rocky, because he's the champion. So he wants to go to the limit to prove something to himself, and he does. But that doesn't sit well with Apollo Creed, and that competitiveness eats him alive, and he needs another fight with Rocky. And what does Rocky do? He wants a championship. Boom. The impossible hill to climb in the first film becomes a reality in that one. And then in the third, you have him train him, and they become friends. And that animosity, the tension is there in the beginning. And because he's getting something out of Rocky at the same time, because he was disrespected, he felt shaded. So he said, fuck Mr. T, fuck Clubber Lang. I'm going to get revenge, and I'm going to help Rocky beat his ass for dissing me while I was trying to shake his hand. So with that, you still have tension between the two, because there's not a lot of trust there, because they were just opponents in the last 2 films and beat the ever-loving hell out of each other. And then they gain love, respect, and they triumph over Clubber Lang, and they just look at one another. And he says, hey, that favor I asked you for, it's time to pay up. And then we have a secret behind the scenes third fight. And he, as we learn in Creed, he beats Rocky. He beats Rocky twice, which is something you don't see in any other Rocky film. And that is why he is Rocky's best opponent of all time. This list may continue. I don't know if they're making a Creed 4. I just saw Creed today, so I don't know yet. But let me know your list of Rocky or Creed's opponents. Who's the best? Who's the worst? Let me know that in the comment section down below. Scroll back up, hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe.